A Love Written by God, USA Audience Romantic Faith Story. Emily was 28 years old and living in Chicago. She had a successful career, a beautiful apartment, and a life that looked perfect from the outside. Her friends admired her independence, and her family was proud of everything she had accomplished. But deep inside, Emily felt lonely. Every evening after work, she would sit by her apartment window overlooking the city lights and wonder if true love was real. She had loved before, she had trusted before, and she had been heartbroken before. The pain of broken promises had left scars on her heart that nobody could see. As the years passed, Emily began to believe that maybe love simply wasn't meant for her. One cold, rainy evening, after another disappointing date, Emily returned home feeling defeated. She made herself a cup of coffee, wrapped a blanket around her shoulders, and opened her Bible. As she turned the pages, her eyes stopped on a verse. "My son, give attention to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. Do not let them depart from your eyes." Proverbs 4:20-22. Emily read the verse several times. Then she closed her eyes and whispered a prayer. "God, if you truly have someone for me, I trust you. I'm tired of chasing relationships that lead nowhere. Please write my love story according to your plan." A feeling of peace filled her heart. For the first time in years, she stopped worrying about finding love and focused on growing closer to God. Months passed. Emily started volunteering at local charities and church events. She spent more time helping others and less time worrying about her future. Then one Saturday morning, everything changed. While organizing supplies at a community outreach event, Emily accidentally dropped a large box filled with food donations. Before she could pick everything up, a young man rushed over and helped her. With a warm smile, he said, "Looks like you could use a hand." Emily laughed. "Looks like I could." The young man's name was Jacob. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He simply had a kind heart and a genuine love for people. There was something peaceful about him, something different. Over the following weeks, Emily and Jacob kept seeing each other at volunteer events. At first, they were simply friends. They talked about life, family, dreams, and faith. Every conversation felt natural. Hours would pass like minutes. Soon they began looking forward to seeing each other. One evening after church, Jacob invited Emily for a walk along Chicago's lakefront. The sun was setting over the water. The sky glowed with beautiful shades of orange, pink, and gold. As they walked together, a gentle breeze moved across the lake. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Jacob looked at Emily and smiled. "Can I tell you something?" "Of course," she replied. Jacob paused. "You know what's beautiful about you?" Emily laughed nervously. "What?" "It's not your smile, although that's beautiful too." Emily blushed. Jacob continued. "It's the way you trust God even when life doesn't make sense. It's the way you keep loving people after being hurt. That's what makes you truly beautiful." Emily's heart skipped a beat. No one had ever seen her the way Jacob did. No one had ever understood her so deeply. That night she went home smiling, and for the first time in a long time, she felt hope. As the months passed, their friendship grew into something more. They prayed together. They attended church together. They supported each other through difficult seasons. When Jacob faced challenges at work, Emily encouraged him. When Emily struggled with fear and doubt, Jacob reminded her to trust God. Their relationship wasn't perfect, but it was real. It wasn't built on appearances, popularity, or money. It was built on faith, trust, friendship, and God's timing. 2 years later, Jacob planned something special. He took Emily back to the same lakefront where they had shared their first meaningful conversation. The sunset painted the sky with the same beautiful colors. Emily smiled as memories flooded her heart. Then Jacob stopped walking. Slowly, he reached into his pocket. Before Emily could say a word, Jacob got down on one knee. Tears filled his eyes. "Emily," he said softly, "the day I met you, I thank God for bringing you into my life." Emily covered her mouth as tears rolled down her cheeks. Jacob continued, "You are my best friend, my greatest blessing, and the answer to prayers I didn't even know I was praying." Then he opened a small box containing a beautiful ring. "Will you marry me?" Emily couldn't stop crying. Years of waiting. Years of praying, years of trusting God, everything had led to this moment. With tears streaming down her face, she whispered, "Yes." Jacob smiled. "Yes?" Emily laughed through her tears. "Yes. 1,000 times yes." As the sun disappeared behind the horizon, Jacob slipped the ring onto her finger. The two embraced while the golden light reflected across the water. A few months later, they were married, surrounded by family, friends, and the faith that had brought them together. Today, Emily and Jacob continue building a life centered on love, prayer, and trust in God. Their story reminds us that God's timing is always perfect. Sometimes we think God has forgotten us. Sometimes the waiting feels endless. But often, while we are waiting, God is writing a better story than we could ever imagine. And maybe, just maybe, the love story you're praying for is already being written by God. Subscribe for more inspiring stories. Comment Amen if you believe God's timing is perfect. May God bless you and your family.